All right. I think it's definitely time to clear the air. So I guess I'll give you all an opportunity to come in. So I think it's necessary to clear the air. We've had quite a bit going on today, and I think that I should start with this last conversation that I was completely blindsided by. I'm going to start this out by saying that I absolutely do love Val and Mal. I think that what they have done for this organization is, there are no words. There are no words. And if you go back, anytime that I have stated anything about them, anything of the sort, it has been the same thing, that they are both simply amazing. Their work ethic, what they have put into this organization, they've even sold into the fund. They're awesome. I'm going to start with Mal. I was completely blindsided earlier this morning when her post came out. There was an issue, and I feel like at this point it's necessary to be transparent because, it's necessary at this point. Well, there was a situation over the course of our journey in and out of North Carolina and Atlanta for our meetings. I wasn't necessarily aware of everything that was going on, but I had a brief conversation with Mal about a concern that she had. I asked her, can we continue the meeting, and told her that we would address it. Did address it, thought that was the end of it. Long story short, when I reached out to Mal this afternoon, after hearing what she stated she was stepping down, she basically told me that she had had an issue with a few individuals within the organization. I talked to Mal and I said to her, if nothing else, why wouldn't you at least come to me and talk to me? Like, I felt like we had enough of a relationship that you would come to me and you would talk to me and we could handle it. She basically stated she was getting her thoughts together. She planned to come and talk to me, all this, all that. In the process of this past weekend, Jedediah said to me, what do you think about Mal running the North Carolina chapter, being an intricate part in that? And I said to him, I think that she would be wonderful at it. There's a gentleman that's there. I thought that they made a really good team, and in addition to them making a good team, I know that Mal has a very good relationship with people in and around her state. So we thought it was a good idea. We sat, we had a conversation with Mal. Mal was very receptive. She stated that she was good with it. Any capacity we wanted to put her in, we could put her in. Okay? So we thought, my hand is moved. I'm not doing anything. I have no idea why it's going in and out, but my hand is moved. Okay, so whatever the case is. So we thought that she was fine with that. There was a situation that transpired. I was hurt that Mal didn't talk to me. I'll let her tell her side of the story, whatever the case is. I was hurt that Mal didn't talk to me. And I had reached out on Saturday several times. Didn't hear anything. Sunday, didn't hear anything. Called her today. Spoke to her today. And she basically stated that she had a few concerns. Her issues were with other individuals within the organization. She also stated that she felt like her going to North Carolina might not have been the best move for her. I told her that it was completely up to her where she moved to, We didn't want her to feel like it was a bad move. It's definitely not a bad move. But that we haven't even spoken to certain individuals about running certain areas. So, like, she's literally one of the first people that we spoke to, and that attests to how much we trust her. Full conversation. I asked her, will she reconsider not leaving? She stated at this time, no, but she would definitely, still support. She would keep in touch, all of this other good stuff. I, in return, still felt like the issues that she had were valid enough that needed to be addressed. So I had a conversation with those individuals about what her concerns were. Now, let me also state this. I also explained to Val that part of the reason why I placed her in a position to begin with was because I thought she was genuine and sincere and that she was vocal. So with her being vocal, what I told her again was, I know for a fact that you know how to speak up for yourself. So if there is any issue whatsoever, I expect that from you. I'm hurt that you would not at least come to me and tell me what's going on. Again, she stated she was getting her thoughts together. She was. She's good. Wishes us the best. Asked her to reconsider. Stated right now she was okay. She and I ended that conversation. We were fine. But again, I felt like her issues needed to be addressed. Therefore, I had a conversation with Jedediah and one of the individuals that she also had a problem with, actually two. So 3 people total. Whatever the case is, clearly one of those individuals had a conversation with her and said, look, I hear that you are having a problem. I've heard what you've had to say with my own 2 ears. What's what? Mal was upset about that, supposedly. I don't know. I can't speak to or attest to why Mal is pissed. I did just have a conversation with Mal. I did just have a conversation, me, Mal, and Jed. And she states that we're good. But she also states that why she was upset was because she felt like she could vocalize for herself. I agree. She is more than capable of telling what she wants to tell. And as I explained to her, it did not come from a place of being malicious. It came from a place of wanting it to be squashed. And I'm the one who asked those individuals, reach out, see if we can get this squashed, because I think that is something that we can get past. Clearly she didn't like that, and that's understandable. It was never stated to me that I could not communicate what her issues were. I get that. But she also stated that someone else was in her ear telling her that I had said whatever, which was not the case. And as I explained to Mal, that I am also vocal enough that in the event that I had something to say, I would say it. That yes, I was hurt by what transpired because I felt like she could come to talk to me. I felt like we had had enough of a relationship that she could come and talk to me about what was going on. She and I had never had any problems before. We barely talked on the phone, but we did text quite a bit. And, with that being said, it was never any indication via text message or anything of the sort that Mal had any kind of issues. Long story short, I wish Mal the absolute best. I ended that conversation letting her know what I stated again, which is that I love her and that invitation still remains. Part of going through the process is some miscommunication. Any event that she wants to come back, she is always welcome. There will always be a place for Mal. End of that. Val. Val and I are two strong individuals. We have bumped heads before. There have been a couple times. But one thing I can say about Val is she does the thing when it comes down to getting work done. Val should have never been placed in a position to be anyone's assistant because she is a natural-born leader. I'm aware of that. I have told Val that. And even beyond us bumping heads, I even told Val that I felt like she was the appropriate person to lead nationally for the administrative side of things. Told her I wanted to step away from it completely, but we needed to be able to trust more people in order to do that, because at that point she was essentially doing personal sensitive stuff, she was doing administrative stuff. And ultimately we needed to be able to trust other individuals to come in and help. I also told her that I felt like what was going on was far too much work for any one individual, and in the future I was going to split it so that she could focus on either if she wanted to be whatever role she wanted to be in, but I felt like it was best for her to be lead nationally as far as administration was concerned. There was a joke made to someone else within the organization that stated, or I made a joke to somebody within the organization because while we were traveling, Val had a personal tragedy. She was supposed to come, but she couldn't make it. So this other individual had kind of stepped up and was making sure, like, things were done. And what I said to them was, for this week, you my personal assistant. So when they introduced themselves at one of these meetings, they basically stated, oh, and I'm Sheena's personal assistant, in a joking way. Honestly, Val became upset. She texted me pertaining to it and basically stated she was not going to fight for her position, that her work speaks for itself. I agree. It does. It speaks for itself. I felt like it was a bit of a tantrum, and what I said to Val was this. I agree. You do excellent work, without a doubt. But what I couldn't deal with was any bit of an issue with a joke. Like, it wasn't even necessary. There was no point in either of us having a problem pertaining to that. It was a joke. And the roles were going to be split anyway. At some point. Not now. And I reiterated again. I said that I do need you in this position, in both positions, for the time being, because we have to be able to trust people before we bring more people in on that regard. But eventually, the roles will be split so that you can have time for yourself. Via those text messages, I also said to her, look, it's too much for any one person, especially not being paid. That still bothers me. It's too much work for one person, especially not being paid. But understand, because of everything else that is going on, Val was the only person that I could trust. Now, let me also say this. Val has been to my home. She has stayed in my home. Val knows my children. I know her son, who I call my son. I've stolen him. I think she'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. But again, I must say, we are two strong individuals. We are both natural-born leaders. And we do bump heads. We will bump heads. But that's because Val should have never been placed in a position to be an assistant, because she thinks like a leader. And that's the position that she needs to be in. Val wanted very clear understanding of what her role was. And because we are in a building stage, I could not provide that information. We had already had our discussion. about what it was that we wanted to happen, as far as Val taking on a stronger role because she deserved that. But in the moment, we needed to stay steadfast, and she was perfectly fine with that. Last text, whatever the case is, was a sis, I love you. We gonna argue, we family. Whatever the case. And I sent a heart to let her know that I love her too. Then we had the situation that we had to handle, so we were communicating back and forth pertaining to that. And I did not have an opportunity to talk to her because Jedediah went missing. And I was tired. And I have children that I need to come home to who still hadn't seen me, and I don't know how long. But ultimately, that is what has transpired with Mal. That is what has transpired with Val. Understand that there are three sides to every story. There's the truth in between, my side and her side. And I implore them to say whatever it is that they feel like they're having issues with. It was done in a very public way, so therefore I felt it necessary to publicly address what was going on. Again, I still love both of them. I have not had an opportunity to talk to Val. What I said to Val was, though, via text message, was it was very disheartening. You know, families go through stuff. You know, what I'm going to say is, as far as Mal is concerned, her initial issue was definitely not with me. As far as Val is concerned, at some point I'm sure she will come on and have some sort of conversation as to how she's feeling. And at that point in time, we can address it, because I can't address anything without actually talking to her. So I'm going to say this again. I love Val. I love Mal. And in the event that either of them want a role or a position or their rightful positions, they'll be there. There is no negating the fact that they have done the work. And I appreciate them. I appreciate them. I told Mal myself again tonight when I just got off the phone with her that I love her. And it's here when she wants it. And the same goes for Val. So across the board, that's it. Don't have anything else to say. Maybe I can answer a couple questions. Michael says this is becoming a soap opera. Michael, I am sure you got some sort of something going on in your household or whatever the case is. So, glass houses, bro, glass houses. Why go live? Because it's necessary. It was publicly stated. It needed to be publicly addressed. True words from a true woman. To Sheena, I agree. It's extremely sad. See? So there can be more than one leader in a chapter. Absolutely. There are quite a few leaders in a chapter. Julie, you say, why wasn't Val allowed to lead the administrative support? Val was actually going to take over nationally across the board. So that was the conversation that she and I had. And I agree with you. She has more than proved herself. I will. I'll block after this. I love you all too. No, I did not record. I communicated what she said. And he did hear a portion of it because he was around. Serena, I did talk to her privately prior to coming on here. But the last... Mika, my finger is not over this speaker. I have no idea. This phone completely shut down on me earlier, so perhaps I might just need a new one. But no, I did talk to Mal privately. Mal is still hurting, and I understand that, and I'm certain that a lot of the hurt has to do with the fact that I honestly believe Mal loved and enjoyed what it was that she was doing. I believe she believes in the cause. So I think at this point it's best to let her feel how she's feeling. I've spoken my piece. Jed has spoken his piece. And any event that she wants to come back, she can come back at any point in time. All them eyebrows under there. Says, is she out, or if she comes back, will there be a vote? She's out because she chooses to be out. Not because we wanted her out. Camille, do I think I should apologize? Apologize for what, Camille? What I can tell you is, pertaining to the situation that she had go on, that she told me about earlier today, that she felt uncomfortable in, or whatever the case is, yeah, I told her that I'm sorry that she felt that way. And I'm also sorry that she felt it necessary to go about it the way that she did and not talk to me. Like, I'm sorry across the board. I'm sorry that I didn't pay more attention. I'm sorry that we didn't get an opportunity to talk more. I'm sorry that, she never made it, to the final leg of the trip. I'm sorry about a lot of things. He said Christopher had a good question. I didn't see it, though. Well, Keisha, I'm about to get some rest. I have to go to work in the morning, contrary to popular belief. I do that. And I saw that other live earlier, talking about Martin and them work. So does Sheena. She works, too, every day. Why do all the freedom fighters smoke detectors need batteries? Because it is part of being a part of the crew. You got to have a battery for a smoke detector that beeps. That's just part of it. Sheila, why does she leave if she loves the cause? I honestly can tell you that Mal does believe in the work that she was doing. She was definitely happy in the work that she was doing, just based off of her expression to me. Understand that this is a rather large organization. There are a lot of different personalities, and she had an issue with something that transpired, and I feel like it's something that we can talk out. I do. I feel like it's something that we could talk out, her and those individuals that she had an issue with. But that's something that Mal would have to come to terms with and want to actually do. Why not discuss this in the group? I didn't discuss it in the group because it started publicly on public pages. So that's why I discussed it out here publicly on my page. And I'm sorry, my doorbell just.
Hello.
Oh, well, look who just arrived. Let me see. She said she was hurting from what she saw. What did she see? She stated that, at least what I know, is that she was no longer a moderator on the group. And she was removed as a moderator on the group because she was supposed to go into a completely different role. And in addition to that, I had not spoken to Mal in a few days. I had reached out to her more than a few times. So that is why I'm shutting it down. Who will be sending out the letters now? We will make sure the letters get sent out. And that is the end of this. All right, guys. I am going to bed. I realize that there will be individuals who, regardless of what is said, regardless of the truth that is provided, will still have an issue. And that is not my issue. I have spoken my truth, and that is all I have to say. And on that, I will say good night. You all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I hope tomorrow is a better day for all of us. All right?